Good morning, everybody. My name's Jenny Ware. I'm the member for Hughes down in southern and southwest Sydney. And I just want to start, first of all, by acknowledging my fellow co-chairs, Susan Templeman, the member for Macquarie, and also Kate Chaney, the member for Curtin. I know Kate hasn't made it here yet, but I'm sure that she will shortly. Thank you, Jamie, for your acknowledgement of country. And I'd just start by saying, as we come together today to discuss the major challenges affecting foster carers and children in foster care across Australia, we acknowledge that Australia's First Nations people have lived on country for millennia before us and whose knowledge we should keep front and centre. So, ladies and gentlemen, we as a parliamentary friendship group acknowledge that kinship care should always be the first priority for Australia's First Nations people. I'd also like to thank our distinguished parliamentary colleagues that have made up the Parliamentary Friendship Group, and for those of you that watch Question Time, first of all I'd like to apologise in advance for those of you that do watch Question Time. You would think if you just look at Question Time that it is often just people who should be adults shouting at each other across a chamber, but the reality is that's about an hour and a half each sitting day when we're here. Behind the scenes we do a lot of work together across the chamber and with the crossbenchers, whether it's committee work or parliamentary friendship groups like that. So I will just acknowledge the other members who form our Parliamentary Friendship Group. There is Pat Conahan, the member for Cowper, Peter Khalil, the member for Wills, and I did see Peter here earlier, Senator Helen Polly, Senator for Tasmania, who similarly was here, is still here, Dr Anne Webster, the member for Mallee, Senator Yana Stewart, the member for Victoria, Senator Tony Sheldon, Senator for New South Wales, who was here as well, Sally Situ, the member for Reid, who is here, thank you Sally, Dr Gordon Reid, the member for Robertson, he's currently on House duty, so he'll probably join us later, Dr Michael Freelander, the member for Macarthur, who's similarly on House duty. And I just wanted to mention also, before we had in the room, Tony Passon, who's a member for Barker. And I note that many of you in the room are foster carers, and to you I'd just like to say welcome and thank you for all that you do. To the young people who have come here today, thank you for your time. And I did meet with the fabulous Jessie earlier today, who'd been in, I know that Jessie's story will be told, but I just wanted, because I won't be here, I just wanted to acknowledge you, Jessie, and your mum, Anne, and you won the lottery of life, I think, when Anne stepped up to be your foster mum and is now your mum. So everybody here will look forward to hearing Jessie's story.
I have not been a foster carer. It's something we considered a long, long time ago, but didn't happen. But what did happen to me was a young woman who was couch surfing came to live with me to finish her final year of high school. And like a lot of carers and people who've taken in somebody, this was someone that we now consider part of our family. Ellie lived with us for a short time before we helped her find stable accommodation, but she then came back to us just before her HSC when I realised she had not read Hamlet. She'd seen the movie but not read it. And so Ellie's journey was changed because she had stability and family support, what became family support, our family around her. And I know the difference one person can make in a child's life. And one of the reasons that we said to Ellie, hey, there's a room here, you're going to come and stay for a bit if you'd like while we work out what to do. And she's someone I'd known since she was about 5 years old. Someone I had read somewhere that this statement, one person can make a difference in a child's life, whether it's a teacher or another adult or a role model of some sort. And Ellie's story was that given stability, she then managed to complete her HSC. She got offered a place at New South Wales University to do an arts degree. Before she did that, she became a Rotary exchange student in Brazil. And when she came back from Brazil, she did her degree, she was offered a master's, and without a lot of sort of family connections to get work, we worked with her to for her to go to Darwin and stay with another friend of ours, and where there were kids they'd all got to know each other. And she started her career in Darwin. Now, there's so many amazing things that were the result of her hard work. She is now back at Sydney University in an academic role, having completed her doctorate. So she's now Dr. Ellie, which we love. And that was all because one person said, you know what, maybe there's something we can do to help, and it set off a trail of things. And it was for a child who was over 16, but it showed me the difference that one person can make. And now I have another daughter in my family, which is such a joy, especially when the other one can be a real pain. So that's, for me, one of the reasons why I care about this issue, and think that at a federal level there must be things that we can do that make it easier for the states to better support foster carers and to allow young people to fulfil their potential, to give them a helping hand along the way. So we're delighted to be here to launch this group, and I'm really very pleased to introduce Kate Cheney to say a few words as a fellow co-convener.
Thank you, Susan. Thanks. Thank you all for being here today. And I note that many of you are foster carers. I'm from Western Australia, and in Western Australia, more than 5,200 young people are in out-of-home care. And in my last role, I was at Anglicare WA, and my innovation team there was working on a model which was, how do we transition young people from out-of-home care into adulthood? And through that process, I became very aware of how often the system can fail young people, and how important it is to keep the humanity in our institutions. And I think foster carers are that very human face of our government response to young people who need care. And you know, we see those 5,200 young people in out-of-home care. That number's climbing while the number of foster carers continues to decline. And through that process, I certainly became very conscious of how lucky we are to have foster carers and how important it is to provide support to them. Now, today we have with us Families Australia, who I'd like to thank for advocating so strongly on behalf of foster carers and children and young people in out-of-home care. Established in 2001, Families Australia provides policy advice to the federal government and Parliament on ways to increase the well-being of families, especially those experiencing the greatest vulnerability and marginalisation. And it does so on behalf of about 800 member organisations around Australia who are all working in that area. And so I'd like to welcome today the CEO of Families Australia, Jamie Crosby, and Chair of Families Australia, Dr. Lisa Griffiths, who strongly supported the creation of this important group. And we'll hear from both Jamie and Lisa shortly. The National Foster Care Sustainability Group is driving national level change through advocating for strategic federal actions. And the organisations included in that group include Anglicare Victoria, Australian Foster Care Association, the Centre for Excellence in Child and Family Welfare, Connecting Foster and Kinship Carers SA, Families Australia, Key Assets Australia, Life Without Barriers, MacKillop Family Services, AusChild, Peak Care, and SNAKE and First Nations NGO Alliance representation. And we've got some of their banners here, but it's a large group. And I'd now like to welcome, for the opening address, Dr. Lisa J. Griffiths, Chief Executive Officer, AusChild, Board Member, Families Australia, and Chair of the National Foster Care Sustainability Group.